It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Welcome back to HabsCast. Just getting, got a little time to whittle here before the big game tonight. So what better way to get ready for it than having a little HabsCast? I'm, hope you can join me on the live chat here. Weigh in on this one. We're got a little dirt on the screen, computer screen. We're all good now. Yeah, it's looks like Monty's in net tonight. Looks like Arbor's out of lineup again. I don't know if it's been completely confirmed, but for what I've read so far, and people can weigh in if they got confirmation for sure, but I believe Strubal's back in tonight against Buffalo. Maybe a bit of a surprise to some folks because, Buffalo kind of dominated physically the last time they played. And presumably Arbor is bigger than Strubel, but I guess maybe you don't want to mess with a winning lineup after finally beating Minnesota Wild in a game the other night. It's but for me, it tells a little extra if indeed it is Strubel in tonight. I think he's being showcased. Now, that's a guess. I don't have any inside information. I'm not a hockey insider like Darren Drager and such, but just an educated guess on my part, because I did have a look at David Reinbacher the other day, and I think people, if you didn't watch the video, go have a look at it. It was yesterday. He looks ready. He really does. And I think ideally they would, this experiment of using left defenseman on the right side, I think ideally the club would like that to end. And I mean, Reinbacher, they drafted Reinbacher for several reasons, but one of the main ones being right-hand defenseman with size that can be a shutdown guy once he gets NHL experience. Now, I've been reading people saying, well, there are some people like Snake and Matthias Brunet that have been saying that he's not living up to expectations and stuff. And I mean, I get, he's a top 5 pick, right? And typically a top 5 pick, even on defense, by the age of 21, has seen time in the NHL. Like, I just went back, and the last defenseman drafted in the top 5 that didn't play a game before the age of 22 was Thomas Hickey. And we have to go back to 2012, 13, and it was mainly because he just wasn't good enough. And he wasn't very big. Hickey was 5'11", right? And as it turned out, LA, after he was drafted, had a pretty strong defense, and he just couldn't crack it till he was 23, 24, and didn't really get to be a full-time NHLer. And even then it was brief, on the island. And now he's a hockey analyst, and a pretty good one. But it's rare. You just, the last 14 years, every defenseman drafted in the top 5 gets a look by the time they're 21 years of age. They get a look at the NHL level, and it's probably just about everyone drafted top 10, really. Even Griffin Reinhardt, who ended up being a bust, played, all of his NHL games before he was 22 years of age, and they found out. And certainly David Reinbacher right now is way ahead of where Griffin Reinhart ever was after he was drafted. So I think, I mean, I don't know for sure, but the fact that Struble and Jacky, when they are in the lineup, invariably get less than 12 minutes a night, with rare exceptions, tells me that they're not. Marty does not see either of them as being the answer in the top six right now. And this club is going for it. Like the East is wide open. Kent Hughes said himself that they're ahead of schedule, and they traded for Deneau. They're going to make a couple of deals here more, I think. What I would do if I were them, I'd be targeting guys like McCarron and Toropchenko. I'd look at if you could ever get any interest for Jake Evans for McCarron, I'd do that deal or something along those lines. And then maybe Engstrom and Struble for Toropchenko. Something along those lines. The Canadians have, I don't think they'll want to have Jacky and Struble both sitting in the press box if they did bring up Reinbacher. But I think they need to bring up David Reinbacher and give him a look, and have Arbor as your seventh guy for now. He can sub in for Reinbacher. Reinbacher doesn't have to play every game. Get him acclimatized to the NHL, and have 3 right defensemen, 3 left defensemen. As it stands right now, Montreal's defense is, when you average out their height, they're under 6'1". It's slightly, but they are under 6'1". Average NHL defense core, and I'm not talking about the bigger ones, but the average is 6'2", 6'2 plus. And there are a few that are 6'3" or 6'4" on average. And so the Canadians, undersized on the blue line. They're 28th in goals against in the league. That's not good enough. Some people are concerned about David Reinbacher's defensive play, offensive play, not getting enough points. They'd like to see him play on the power play. I read, get his offense more points. He's averaging a half point a game. At 21 years of age, he's got 72 games of pro experience in North America. So that's fine. That's a fine average for a guy that his bread and butter is going to be his defensive game, his ability, his range, the almost impossibility to beat him one-on-one, especially to the outside, his ability to box out, his ability to clear the crease, his length, his strength, his mobility, his poise, his outlet passing. All that stuff is going to help the Canadians, and it's going to help the defense too. Montreal has the third most points by defenseman, third most goals in the league this year. And their defense, I believe, is second to Colorado in points. So they don't need more, they don't need more goals and points from their defensemen. What they need is not to be 28th overall in goals against. And David Reinbacher, from what I watched him a fair bit this year, and is he perfect? No, but no Montreal defenseman is perfect. They're all making mistakes. Sure, he'll have the odd mistake, but does Mike Matheson have the odd mistake? Do Struble and Jacky have mistakes? Yes, they do. I think he'll have fewer mistakes than those two when he's playing. But you can protect him a bit too, right? Don't put him on special teams at this point. Obviously, he's not going to be on the power play, but I mean, penalty kill, right? You that doesn't have to be till he's comfortable at the NHL level. So you give him something like 14 minutes to, a game, I think it'd be with Hudson. Some people argue, well, put him with Matheson, but who's the more reliable defenseman right now? Who makes fewer mistakes, Hudson or Matheson? Yeah, Matheson's the vet, but I mean, they're destined. I think Hudson and Reinbacher are destined to be a pairing anyway. So, I mean, I go with it right off the bat. Hudson on his left side where he's much more comfortable. You've got 3 left defensemen then, right? Have Goulet with Carrier, Hudson with Reinbacher, Matheson with Dobson, and try it out. Mind you, I mean, it could also be done where you didn't have to trade Struble first. You could have 2 defensemen for a little while on the roster and go with 1 extra forward. But with all the injured players coming back, all the forwards, it makes sense to have those 2 spots for forwards and 1 defenseman. So in that regard, it probably makes sense for them to trade a Struble or Jack-Eye before calling up Reinbacher. But I really hope they do call him up here and give him a look. I think he's ready. I think he's ready for a look. I mean, he's a top 5 defenseman, right? Top 5 pick. He's supposed to be playing at this point. It's not like the Canadians are bellwethers when it comes to defensive play. They're 28th in the league. It can be improved. And one of the reasons when they play a big team, they seem to get overwhelmed. Well, Reinbacher brings a size that can help in that regard. You know, people say, well, they're 28th in goals against because their save percentage is so low. Well, true, but when you've got a guy that can box out, that can clear the crease, can get his long stick on pucks in the crease area like Reinbacher does, you watch. Goaltending, a save percentage will go up. Like when you've got better defensemen that can clear rebounds and, clear guys that are screening on shots from the point. Like how many goals has Monty allowed this year from point shots, right? And him being screened and all that. Well, when you've got a Reinbacher, when you've got a 6'3" guy with his size, ability to box out, that's going to help. There's going to be fewer shots that are screened, deflected, fewer rebounds that people get to because, I mean, save percentage goes down when you've got rebounds, fat rebounds left in front with nobody with, and they aren't cleared out. Like teams score a lot of goals on rebounds, right? Their shooting percentage is higher on a rebound in front of the net than a shot from far out that's not screened. So I think Reinbacher can help the save percentage just internally by him being in the lineup as opposed to some other guys. So, but also, I mean, the save percentage it's incumbent, obviously, that the goalies play better. That no doubt about that. But Monty has looked better since he came back from his injury. Monty's in nets tonight, by the way. I don't know. Have they announced whether Laine's playing tonight or not? I asked Stu, and he didn't get back to me as of yet. I guess we don't know for sure, but I guess I'm presuming that he's not in the lineup, and it's going to be the same crew as the last game. They play pretty well against Minnesota, right? So I don't see. It may mean that they don't change it up at all when it comes to the lineup. But I just personally, I think Struble is perhaps being showcased here. I think if the Canadians had to make a choice between who they want to be the seventh guy per se. I think it's probably Jacky, just to keep that. I mean, Struble can handle himself too, but Jacky is one of the more well-respected enforcers in the league, or whatever. You've got a tough game coming up. He can always get in the lineup, right? I think for that reason, they may prefer having Jacky as the other guy. I also think maybe perhaps there's still more developing that can be done with Jacky than Struble at this point, even though he is a bit older than Struble. Jaden Struble, I don't know that he's playing any better now than when he first came up to the Habs. So it makes me wonder, has he kind of reached his potential? Like, you're not going to see him being any better than he is right now. And which is, a serviceable bottom pairing NHL defenseman, but on a contender that has 3 good left defensemen already, needs a taller, longer stick guy in the lineup, ideally, than having 4 left defensemen, and 3 defensemen under 6'1". I think ideally Struble is the odd man out, just from a size standpoint. But I also think there are teams out there that would wouldn't mind having Struble, and maybe they can get a decent return. Maybe Struble for Toropchenko, or I'm just throwing that out there. But I hope the Canadians are looking to add some size to the bottom 6, and certainly if they could get McCarron and Toropchenko and bring Reinbacher into the lineup as one of their 6 defensemen, well, no, they're no longer average size or below average size. They're a decent sized team then, right? So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the live chat here what you think of what they should be doing here. I'll get to your comments as we go along. Obviously, Buffalo's been red hot over the past 20 games. They've been they handled the Habs pretty well the other night. And hey, back home, time for a little revenge, right? I think the Canadians, I get a feeling they're going to come out strong tonight, have a solid game. Demi's playing really well right now. I look for that to continue. Typically, Demidov, second half of the year, he only just gets better as he's adapting to his league that he's playing in. I could see. I think he's going to continue that. Hopefully, Cappy gets going again here. He's probably due for a goal again. Tonight would be a prime night for him to pop one. Only one game over the last 5 days, so hopefully he's got some energy back. Looked like he was hitting the wall there a little bit for a while, but with no back-to-backs, and this will be the second game in 5 days or whatever. It's not a huge amount of rest, but it's more rest than what they were getting. So I look for that line to have a decent game tonight. And Dach, I didn't mind. Let me know what you thought of Dach's first game. There's been mixed reviews on it. I thought Dach played pretty well, actually. He wasn't. I don't think you can get too critical about a guy that was out for as long as he was. You have to give him a little bit of leeway, but I thought he he didn't hurt. I didn't think he hurt the team, put it that way, when he was out. So Buffalo in their last 3 has 3 points, so they cooled down a little bit, but they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 2, and 1 in their last 19. That's pretty crazy. But so they're due, right? They're due to lose a few. And here's hoping that they're victims of Montreal tonight. Cole getting that goal was nice the other night. Boy, what a 15 seconds left in the period. Fantastic that he popped that. I love the little stick tap that Suzuki gave Faber after. Like, see at the Olympics, kid. Tick, tick. I don't know if you saw it on social media, but looked like Faber was looking up at the clock for a sec, see how much time was left. Cole kind of snuck away a bit, took the shot. I looked at that pretty closely. Quinn Hughes out in the last 15 seconds. I guess in a tie game, right? It makes sense, but I don't know. That hemmed up in your own zone, he's not the guy. He's not the guy I want, protecting in your own zone defensively. But he if you go back and look at the highlight of that, Deneau did a really good job of battling with Hughes in front of the net. Hughes couldn't move him, and Deneau was screening Wallstead on the shot by Caufield. I can't tell if it went off of Hughes or it went off the goalie, but it went off of one of the two into the top corner. Like, I played it on slow-mo, and I still can't quite tell. It may have gone off Hughes. But anyway, good job by Deneau winning the face-off and then battling with Quinn Hughes in front of the net. I don't know. I think Lane Hudson would have boxed it, Deneau out if it would have been him. But hey, he's not good. Quinn Hughes got picked over Lane for the Olympic team. That's what it boils down to, right? There were comments there today. Well, you didn't really want, not big enough. You can't have 2 5'10" defensemen. Yet Minnesota can have 2 5'10" defensemen. They're going to have to beat Dallas and Colorado in 7-game series with 2 5'10" defensemen, but the U.S. couldn't have played 1-game matches against international European teams with 2 5'10" defensemen. I bet you just about all of the European teams have 2 5'10" defensemen in their lineup. But anyway, that's the way she goes, right? They made that decision that it was impossible for them to have 2 5'10" defensemen, no matter how competitive Lane Hudson is. Hey, it's our well-kept secret, right? People are still underestimating Lane Hudson's defensive play and compete, and that's fine. Let them keep underestimating him. That's nothing but good for the Canadians. All right, let's get to a few comments here. And I join in and know exactly what you were talking about. What's Snake's issue with Reinbacher? I've heard his talk on Cappy, but never heard him talk about Reinbacher. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter that much what Snake's opinion is on him. I don't think. I think he's a little impatient, right? Top 5 defenseman, look at the stats. He's not lighting it up. But you don't have to be a offense, like, especially on Montreal. They got 3 60-point defensemen. Do they need another 40, 50-point defenseman, or do they need a defensive defenseman? I mean, Reinbacher's got a good shot. Reinbacher can pass the puck. He's not. You watch. You pair him with Lane Hudson, and he'll get plenty of assists. They might be secondary assists. They might be primary assists. He'll get more chances to get shots on goal with Lane Hutson passing to him. You know, I've seen many a defenseman, and I think Reinbacher will be a good example of it. Not that he's playing poorly at the AHL level, just that he will be just as productive in the NHL, I believe, as he's been in the AHL. You know, in large part because he'll be playing with smart, offensive-minded NHLers, right? I mean, you pair him with Lane Hutson. Doesn't matter who's paired with Lane Hutson. Like, look at Alex Carrier lately, you know, playing with Lane, and all of a sudden he's, you know, he looks like a Rocket Richard Trophy candidate. So I'm not worried about him not piling up lots of points in the AHL. I watch his game. He passes. He sees the ice well. He passes very smartly. He's got a good shot, good low shot, gets it through. Like, all of the, you know, what matters is what you see, and not what you read on a stat sheet, right? And what I see is fine. He's going to get points in the NHL, but that's not going to be his main strength. It'll be his defense, his ability, his mobility. He's so rangy. He covers so much ice. It's gonna help the Canadians. The size, he's got good size. He's plenty strong enough now to handle the NHL. You know, the big boys in the NHL. I think he's ready, and for that reason, here's hoping that the Canadians are shopping. I mean, not that I want Struble or Jacky to leave. It's never easy. You get, like, I've got to know Jaden Struble a little bit, and super nice guy, and the same with Jacky. But, you know, fact is that he's going to lose a job here to a guy that was picked in the top 5, a guy that's a better fit, that's on the right side. There isn't. The 3 top left defense spots are spoken for. So it's just, it's a numbers game. Hey, Jaden Struble will go to another organization more than likely here. He'll more than likely get a full-time job, and hopefully he has a long, prosperous NHL career. So that's where it's at. But Kenny saying, I'm sure management has talked about dealing Struble. Yeah, I would think so. By the way, folks, do me a favor and check out Logs End. If you are thinking of perhaps in the spring or summer, or even now, getting some flooring done, increase the value and the beauty of your home. Yeah, there's no nicer wide plank flooring than Logs End. Logsend.com. They take, very unique company. They take logs from the Ottawa River, from the bottom of the river that have been preserved for like 200 years, turn it into beautiful, beautiful flooring. And hey, if it's good enough for this guy, 10-time Stanley Cup champ Yvan Cournoyer, who got his home completely done with logs and flooring, if it's good enough for Yvan, it's good enough for you. All right. The Habs call up a D. Do you think it will be Reinbacher or Engstrom? I think it will be Reinbacher. They don't need another left defenseman. They could be shopping Engstrom too, but that doesn't. If they move up, they can't send. Here's the thing: they can't send Struble or Jacky to the minors, right? I mean, yeah, they could be shopping Engstrom and Struble, But, you know, we're talking about the big team here, and they have too many defensemen then if they call up Reinbacher. So, you know, I've been saying for months, Ken, that they're shopping Engstrom and Struble, probably. I thought that they were showcasing Engstrom when they brought him up. Now maybe they're showcasing Struble. But, yeah, who knows? Maybe the two of them get, dealt together. Maybe Engstrom and Struble are packaged to St. Louis along with a pick or something for Braden Shannon or something like that. Who knows? But, I think Nashville and St. Louis, we've seen it before. Teams tend to, when they have trading partners, they trade with them more than once. There's a trust built up there. And just so happens St. Louis and Nashville are on the outside looking in, especially St. Louis. And just so happens that St. Louis and Nashville have been trading partners with the Canadiens in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some sort of a deal between the Habs and either St. Louis or Nashville, or perhaps even both. And again, I circle back to saying McCarron, Toropchenko, Shen. All those are three possibilities that I would think the Canadiens might be interested in. Well, but that's conjecture. I don't have any hard evidence on that. Gooley and Hage for Robert Thomas. Yeah. Well, again, we're doing PlayStation deals. No, I don't see St. Louis trading Robert Thomas. No. And I wouldn't do that. No. There's not a crying need for a second line center right now. So you go from a guy making $900,000 to a guy making, quite a few million. Yeah, he's an upgrade, but fine. Is he an upgrade defensively on Kapanen? Maybe. But, that second line has chemistry right now. Keep them going. And this way, you're not and then you get Thomas. So then you got, 5 centers? One of them has to be dealt, I guess. But Gooley and Hage, one of the reasons why I'm saying you got to call up Reinbacher is because there's not enough size and physicality on the blue line. And by trading Gooley, you're just subtracting that. Then you're back to square one here, right? Is it because Caden Gooley hasn't been playing much? So let's just wait for him to get up to speed here. He's an important piece on any team that hopes to do anything in the playoffs here. And then that's not even talking about Michael Hage, maybe the best forward outside the NHL right now. No, I wouldn't be. I don't think it makes a pile of sense from Montreal's viewpoint. And I don't, St. Louis, Armstrong is looking to retool, not to rebuild. If he got rid of Robert Thomas, he'd be looking to rebuild. And I don't see that being. Robert Thomas is in his prime. St. Louis isn't planning on not being competitive over the next 4 years. They've got lots of good young talent. Don't see them looking to move Robert Thomas. It's my opinion on Alex Tuch. Classic power forward, but I was looking at his stats. He's not hitting that much. Yeah. I don't think he's a classic power forward. He's big. Yeah, well, he's going to be a UFA, is he not? I mean, if it looked like Luke was destined to be a future Hab, it might be a little more palatable, right? But I don't know that Luke's, and I'm going to get to that too here in a little bit. I've got a I got a video on Tyler Thorpe. I looked at his last game and his last fight and a few hits and stuff, and I'm going to weigh in on him. But I think maybe he's ahead of Tuck as far as the pecking order down the line for a fourth line spot. But I'll get to that in a bit. Kenny says I can't. Yeah, well, he's same here. I don't see St. Louis shipping Tom, so no. Do the Habs not need a defenseman like Arbor, especially you mentioned their average height? Well, that's including Arbor, right? Yeah, well, they need a taller defenseman, taller than Struble, and that's why I'm saying trade the 6-foot Struble for the 6'3.5" Reinbacher. I don't think they need another. Like, do you need two defensemen that spend 5 minutes in the box for fighting? I don't think. No, that's not what they need. They need good, tall, rangy defenseman, defensive defenseman. Prefer Arbor over Stumble. All right, Chris Stamps. Yes, he stumbled once last game. People are like, oh, Struble was brutal last game because he stumbled once. Like, people are so, it's not only like a bad game or a bad period. It's, oh, if you make a bad play, you were brutal last game. People overreacting to Struble having one stumble. Not the first defenseman to do it. I saw Bobby Orr stumble once. Was he brutal? Anyway, Reinbacher has a lot more skill and ability over either Arbor or Jaden. Exactly. Snake still sees value for. Okay, well, I don't. We have to. Like, is Snake's opinion just so important to everybody here? Like, I get to read it every time. I don't. It doesn't have to be. Like, it's just an opinion, right? Hi folks, I hate about Line A on French media is so awful. Yeah. Reinbacher has a personality like Carey Price. It's not going to be easy for him in Montreal. No. What? Reinbacher's got a great personality, and it's one of the reasons why they picked him over Michkov. I kind of agree with that. All right, we're getting... Sorry, folks, but just some of these comments here, I can't... I'm not on board with. When is Line coming back? I'm not sure. It's a good question. If you think they're trading Jackeye, you're crazy. Well, I don't think it's crazy that you would trade Jackeye. They probably aren't trading Jackeye, but it wouldn't be crazy. The guy plays, like, how many minutes has he played so far this year? It's not like he's indispensable. Clearly, he's not the apple of Marty St. Louis' eye. Like, Wayne Gretzky got traded, but if Arbor Jackeye got traded, that'd be crazy. No, it would depend. It would depend on what you got back for him, right? Arbor has played 522 minutes so far this year. Based on 49 games that the Habs played, 11 minutes? An average of 11 minutes per game. Like, that's not an indispensable piece. I just think, if it comes down to between Arbor or Struble as who you'd who you keep as the seventh guy, probably Arbor, just because of the that that physicality standpoint, right? Like the Sens have McDermott, right? Well, Arbor would be just that insurance policy for games games coming up that things are going to get a little rough and what have you. I also think if you called up Reinbacher, he wouldn't necessarily have to play every game. You could get Jack in on occasion. If you're playing a particularly big physical team, you could also have Reinbacher and Jack in the lineup and take out and sit Carrier for the odd game, right? And then have it. That would be a big blue line actually, where the only guy under 6 feet would be Lane, and then the defense wouldn't be small at all. It would be actually a decent size. So, like, never say never, right? You were being mean? Okay, well. Hey, old man. Yeah, old man. Old men have wisdom there, young fella. I've heard Reinbacher will be Hannafin type, not worried about scoring. We need shutdown and size. He can move the puck, and like I say, man, you get him you get him paired with Hudson, he'll get points. He had more points at 18 in the Swiss League than Josie did. So, there is some offensive potential there. He's got a good shot. You get him paired with Hudson, and he'll get his share of points. It'll be 5-on-5, and that's fine. I'm not. He's got more offensive upside than Noah Hannafin, but yeah, there are some similarities there. I just, I think it's overblown how, if you take a defenseman in the top 10, he's got to get all sorts of points. Well, they are called defensemen, not offensemen, right? They have to, 90% of the time you don't have the puck, and what you do away from the puck and in your own end is always going to be the most important thing for a defenseman. That's old man mentality, but you ask an NHL coach, and that's how they they look at it. Well, people are weighing in on Joey, backing me up on that. Thanks, folks. Not the first time I've been called an old man. Turned 62 yesterday. Tell you, I don't feel it. Get out cross-country skiing there, and I just boom along. Don't feel a day over 40. Well, some mornings. Hage born to be a Hab, and all the stuff that happened with his father. I agree. Story behind it's another reason why I don't think we trade him and he stays with us. Yeah, that would be sad if they did turn around and trade him after. It really would, I think it would be bad karma. Even though you can't. Look, Hage was a possibility to be dealt when people were just saying they got to get a top 2 center. They got to get a top 2 center. They have to get a top 2 center. it's not as urgent right now, I don't think, because Hage doesn't look that far away. He might be a top two center. Cappy obviously surprised a lot of people. He might be a top two center. He is right now, and he's doing an okay job. Still some work to do, but he's filling the role okay now. That second line is very good, so there's no urgency to pick up that top six, that top two center that was one of the reasons why Hage was being bandied about as a possibility to be dealt to get the center that can help now. But the way Hage played at the World Junior tournament and the way he's playing this year, his improvements away from the puck overall, he's getting stronger, tells me that he's not that far away, that he might even be able to play for the Habs at the end of this year. Will it be in a second line center role? No. But in part because Kapanen's filling that role admirably at this point. But also Hage still has to work on his face-offs and defense. And he'll ideally start on the wing with the Canadians if he comes up at the end of this year and is in the lineup. Oh, we've got a good turnout here, folks. 167 people are, and some new names. A couple of young lads too, apparently. They won't move Hage unless it's a complete gift that can't be refused. Well, yeah. Like Kordic for Courtnall type deal. Actually, no, that's where I thought of the Kordic deal when someone said it'd be crazy to trade Jackeye. Well, if you got a Russ Courtnall for Jackeye, someone at that of that quality, you'd have to consider it, right? You got a first line winger to go on the top line for Jackeye. Not that Courtnall was a first line winger, but you know what I'm saying. Not asking for a trade, but curious. Granlund, centering the best PK and has a decent contract. Yeah. Well, because I don't think they're going to move him. He's been a lifetime Flame, and I think they kind of want him to retire as a Flame. But certainly the Canadians don't need another penalty-killing center. They got 3 now. 4 if you count Foligno. Yeah, well, we have a couple people that don't want to trade Arbor. He's probably not going to get traded, or even Gabriel Velarde, depending on his back. Yeah. My opinion, with Arbor being an RFA, what looks like Struble being dealt, his play will improve as he realizes the opportunity in front of him. Well, Struble gets dealt, they're bringing up Reinbacher, and there's less opportunity in front of him, I think, Glenn. But we'll see. What do you think the Habs will do to respect the 23-man roster? Oh, in respect to the 23-man roster once Newhook and Laine come back? That's a good question. That's why they got to make some deals. Struble being one of them. They'll have to try to waive Blais, I guess. He seems to be odd man out, so you're not going to keep a guy on the roster that's not playing when you bring back guys, right? It's going to be the guys that's sitting in the stands that loses his spots. So Foligno and Blais are probably odd man out. There you go. Bring back that old gang, eh? McCarron, Juleson, and Delorier. Yeah, let's bring back former Habs first round picks. Where's Tenardi this year? Delorier. Ooh, that'd be nice. Be nice to have the big guy in the lineup. Yeah, I bet Line doesn't come back. Oh, no, he's coming. You mean coming back this year or coming back next year? He'd have to be signed, but he's got a contract, big contract. He's coming back. He wants another NHL contract. Justin Barron didn't have to be put in the window before he was traded to Nashville. Well, he played some, no? It's not like he never played. We shouldn't trade Jacky. There you go. Well, I think most people are saying that. Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want size and toughness. Galley looked much better last game, this compressed schedule. Yeah, I thought Galley looked better. Is wrecking him a few days off really helped him? I don't disagree with that. I thought he's looked a little better. Arbor is not an untouchable. Well, no, geez. Yeah. Hey, old man, do you think the hands? Old man. Calling old man. Is there an old man in here? Old man? Hello? Old man? Any old man in here? Sorry, nobody here to answer your question there, Joey. Everybody's got a price. We have too many bodies, time to trade quantity for quality. Yep. I agree there, Mr. Gumbley. Something has to give as far as the roster size goes. Yeah, I think so. All right. We'll get back to this stuff in a minute. Tyler Thorpe. Let's show the video here. In a minute. I'm 56. The mornings are a little rough for the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Grade B prospects. Absolutely. Pickford could be an NHLer someday. 160 watching on a Thursday afternoon might be more than a few old men on here. Yeah. Yeah. When he says that hits hard for quite a few people on here. He's talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? My Robert Redford, or Robert. You know who I mean. De Niro. Habs won't trade Black Eye Jacky. He's waiting for Florian Devent to join him, but time will tell. Doc Bolduc Struble first. What could that land us? Oh boy. Nobody look at the mistake of the forward, just the defense or goaler who gives up a soft goal. Yeah, that's a good point, Dominic. It can be on the defenseman or the forwards too, and that's been the case with a few goals recently. I would hate to see H go. The story he had with his father, I want to see him fall. Yeah, me too. All things being equal, Michael Hage stays a Hab. Imagine when Hage fills out. Yeah, he could be a good one, boy. Untouchable? No. 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 Reinbacher, I asked, go back and look at the video that I put up. And it wasn't just good plays, it was notable plays from his last game. He's exactly what the club needs, I think, in the lineup. He can help now. Not sure we need a 2C when we have potential internally. Perhaps a left shot, top line left winger. Maybe with size. I don't fret too much over which way the guys shoot. You can have three guys all shooting the same way on the same line. Do you think a top six forward to play with Nick and Cole, like Forsberg? Yeah, well, he's not. Forsberg's not available. Yeah, I would love to see the backer called up. Always thought he was drafted to play with Hudson. I hope we make a move. Come on, Kent. Get us someone like Tuck, Jenner, or Krause. Krause isn't going anywhere. I'll tell you that right now. Big Utah comeback last game. They're right in the thick of things there. Jenner, maybe. Tuck, what's the likely? Again, Buffalo's in the playoff spot. They're not trading Tuck, I don't think. It's a likely plan for Carrier. Well, for now, there's a spot out. You trade Struble, you bring up Reinbacher, you've got Carrier, Dobson, Reinbacher on the right. There's no. Carrier's playing fantastic hockey. Blocks, shots, hits, competes. It's in his prime. I don't see it doesn't make sense to trade him right now. You need vets. You need some vets. Wonder if the Habs inquired about Drew O'Connor. Vancouver's looked to rebuilding 6'4", 209. Yeah. Maybe Rick. Doesn't excite me, but there's some size there. I don't know how much grit he brings to the lineup, but size, scoring is there. Monahan trade is aging well. Yes. Oh my God, I'm saying Hudson now. Oh yeah, you're not blaming it on autocorrect, Ed? Not sure if he wants to come back, but his physicality would be welcome, McCarron. I don't think it's up to McCarron whether I would be shocked if he's got a no trade clause. So it wouldn't matter if he wanted to come back or not. Hey, I think he'd be just happy that going to a team that's in the playoff race. I don't know too many people that hate playing in Montreal. He was probably more fed up with the management group than he was with the city or the club, right? I mean, are there the only players that would still be that were with the team when he got traded, when he got dealt, would have maybe Suzuki and Gallagher. So I don't see why there'd be any reason why he'd not want to, be in a playoff race and actually play for Montreal as opposed to sitting in the stands like he did in the previous regime. Arbor's game has evolved a lot in the last month. Yeah, which surprises me that he's out of the lineup. I don't know. I wonder if. Well, part of it's this, I think. I think they want. They're more comfortable with Gouli playing with Carrier right now. and they want less minutes for the top guys. So with the pairings, then they put Struble with Hudson, and they've played fairly well together. But then shelter Struble's minutes and give the other 5 decent minutes. Best trade in Habs history. Well, yeah, getting Lafleur. I mean, how can you argue that? The Ken Dryden trade obviously was highway robbery too, but Ernie Hickey or whatever his name is, famous for one thing, right? Getting traded for Guy Lafleur. I always try to word things carefully. Trades are not as simple as some make it out to be. Yeah. Where are you, Rick? You want to come on for a few minutes? I like the team just the way it is, so don't expect many moves. Well, I wouldn't go out and overpay for a guy that would a rental or won't be here long term. Habs aren't the place to overpay. Yeah, and that's kind of echoing what I've been saying, right? Yeah. Imagine Sammy Blais got traded for Pavel Buchnevich. Genius move by Drury. Yeah. That's a good one, Ed. For now, I have to go with Guy. So, Ed. Oh. The Kulak for Hudson deal. Wow. Have to be Lafleur. Come on now. Struble's a fine player, just doesn't do anything extraordinary. Yeah. Wayner. Yes, I know you love McCarron. We had many discussions about that. We're already saying we need big boys in the back end of the playoffs. Arbor can actually play. Yeah. Well. The old man is here, Grant, soon to be 69. Can't see the Habs re-signing Line. No, I don't see that either. Thorpe. Now that's a blue chipper. All right. Well, why don't I get to blue chipper Thorpe here? Goal and 6 assists this year, so not not lighting it up offensively, but the kid turned 20 years of age in August. He's 6'5". This is a learning year, just like Davidson's first year. You'll see progress. We've seen progression since the start of the year already. Next year will be his year, I think, to start to make a visible impact in the AHL. But let's have a look his last game here. Good job along the wall, protecting the puck. He's, his skating for a 6'5" guy who just turned 20, like he's a young 20, right? August birth date, so 20 and a half years old. His skating is fine for his size. It's a nice size skating combo that he has. Got to get stronger, and he'll, a little more explosive, but his first 3 steps for a big guy are pretty good, as you can see here. He's got some quickness, so I like his skating. It was the one thing when I looked at him in his draft year, after the Habs draft, said, oh, okay, this guy moves okay. You see here, he almost got in for a break. And there's an example, right? This is a 20-year-old playing against men. 2 off seasons in the weight room, another 7-10 pounds of muscle added to that frame. He won't be bouncing off a guy like that. Look at him, he got it out there. I like that, and then kicked it ahead. That was a good smart play by him. But they've got him playing here with Deneen, and tuck. And so it's at this point it's a bottom line role at the and there again. Give him 2 years and he'll be winning those puck battles. It's just a maturity. Like you know, he's going up against men that have 2 to 10 years more off seasons in the gym, right? And it'll just be a question of him getting stronger, and then he'll be a force, DHL level. But here, look at he's playing like can play. Maybe he should be on defense. Good job by him there, boxing out a guy, covering up. Reinbacher was aggressive up, covering the points, so he went back and. But there's a good, there's a good example of how hard he can hit. And as I say, as he gets stronger, he's going to be a physical force. Here he is on the goes to the front of the net. That's going to be his office too, right? Be a net front presence once he matures physically. Here he is on the forecheck hitting the guy. That's exactly what he needs to do. I mean, that's the projection is there someday, right? Florian, Papanicus, and Thorpe. I see that. I can see that being the thump line. Good fourth line that can they can all, they all have some skill, but obviously piles of size and physicality. That was a nice feed there. But I like there's a couple shifts here where he plays with Jacky. Dineen got in a fight, and then Jacky ended up being at center, and their shifts were pretty good. So look for that next year for him to step up the lineup a bit and not just be on the quote unquote energy line. Here's Dineen's scrap. Imagine a Dineen that can handle himself physically, eh? Don't see that too often. Not. Dineen's comes from a long line of toughness. And he goes to the front of the net here. And I like that's a good spot for him. Screen the goalie with that 6'5" frame. But as we saw in Vancouver last year, he's got a good shot and he can set up plays, but just it's a year away for him, They'll get him onto he'll get onto a better line next year. Have a good off season, getting bigger, like I say, and I really like the kid's potential. It's just it'll be just like with Reinbacher, you just got to be patient with him, right? Here he collided with the lad. I've got this was his last shift. He protects the puck well, good along the boards. Again, as he gets a little more physically mature, he'll be really good on the cycle. And I can see him, Flo, and Papanicus someday being a nightmare. And here's his scrap in the game before. Many of you might have saw this, but this was a pretty good punching the visor tilt there. I do find modern day fights to be somewhat silly with the friggin' visors on, but it is what it is. They had the little tap to each other after. Gets some thanks or credit for hanging in there. But hey, 20-year-old kid can hold his own. Again, give him a couple of years and he's going to be a beast. But as you can tell, this scrap, he can go, and he's not afraid to take a shot to the, take a shot to the beak either. But tell me, and Papanicus is the same. Here's the little tap at the end. Papanicus can scrap like quite well, and he's 6'4". But imagine having a fourth line with, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", physical, all got decent hands, can pitch in some goals, all can fight. Like yeah, it's a year or three away, but that to me, down the line, we'll see. I mean, things can change, but that to me could be a decent line. And here are I just added a few hits, recent games where and this is what he's going to need to do, right? That's going to have to be his game at the pro level. He's not going to be a top 6 NHLer. There's a pretty good tum below. Knocked the guy over. He certainly got some physicality to his game already, and this is just one of the younger kids in the league. So I'd say likely 2 more years in the AHL, but then, come back for his training camp. Well, maybe the end of, 2 years from now, by the end of that his AHL season, he might be ready, come up for a call up for a playoff. We'll see. But ideally what you want to see is him. You typically want a guy to at least be producing at the AHL level before you call him up, because you gotta have a certain amount of skill, be able to chip in some goals at the NHL level as a rule, and not just, provide a physical edge. But so we'll see. But I would think next year you'll see a progression to like 10 goals, 30, 40 points next year, and then the following year, maybe 15 to 25 goals and 50 points, and then, all right, he's ready. He's ready for a call up. But I like him ahead of Tuck. Hasn't really progressed. He's not as big a body. He's not a very good fighter. This kid already is a better fighter at 20 than Tuck is at 23 or 24, whatever he is. I see him as a more viable option for the bottom line in the future. Davidson might get that spot, over the next couple of years. We'll see. But ideally 3 years from now, you've got a line, as I say, something like Flo, Papanicus, and Thorpe. I think that's the hope, that maybe someday those guys will be in the bottom 6, maybe in a line together, and be quite formidable, especially at playoff time. Just an ideal type of physical line that can soften up the defense for all the scorers, right? But anyway, that's where Thorpe's at right now. I like his potential. He's a good looking prospect. Just young, just needs to get stronger, adapt to the pro game, playing against men. The size skating's there. Know he's got a good shot. Know he's got some passing ability. So typically 6'5" guys that just turned 20 aren't getting a lot of points at the AHL level. So that doesn't concern me. That will come with experience and as he grows into his body, and has a couple of hopefully has a couple of productive off seasons here, and continues to develop physically. Laine forgoes season-ending surgery to fight for us. Scores 20, helps get into the playoffs. Still has never got a shift with Suzuki, a guy who scored 3 times, 40 once. Why, Doc? Well, what's up, Doc? Like, what's going on with that? Has the announcement been made yet on the lineup for tonight? Who's in, who's out? Any changes? Oh, Stu Cowan just told me Laine's not ready to play yet. Okay, thanks, Stu. I think I'm going to have Stu on Monday. Start having it, Stu, as a. I didn't think, I figured he couldn't or wouldn't be able to come on here, but it sounds like he's up for it. I should have asked him 6 months ago, but Stu's a great guy. Got to know him over the years, and a great addition to the team if we can start getting him on once a week or so. Anyway, sounds like he's going to come. He's available around 3 o'clock Monday, so that's great. Love to have Stu on. Probably be looks like Monday, so I'll do a podcast starting at about 2, similar to what I did today. I'll start at 3 today, but maybe at 2 or 3 o'clock on Monday, and we'll work it around Stu's schedule. Get on, Stu. We need one big tough guy that can skate and score a bit, and that's it. Like McCarron, you mean? His skating's got a lot better, Wayne. We need a guy like Wilson. Yeah, well, Wilson's not available. Go back and look at the video that I made of McCarron there before it got zapped by YouTube. He's exactly what they need on the bottom 6, I think. Doc looked okay for first game back. I think he was just feeling it out. Give him time. He's 6'4", 212, can skate, can score, make plays. He's got things we need. Yep. What's Pickford's value on the trade block? Is he looked at like a first rounder with his success? I don't know. Why would you have him on the trade block? There's other guys to trade. They've got Engstrom, Struble, right? Raw, whatever, like Engstrom, Struble. Doc is terrible at hockey. No, he's not. Okay, Jacob, we don't need the... Oh, so I'm clueless, am I? Okay. Why do people come on and say comments like that? Like, just, I'm giving you a warning here, Jacob, but I'm not too patient with people that come on here and say, holier than thou with the, oh, you're clueless if you don't see what I see. We don't need that. We don't. All right? Keep it civil, please. If you can't, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Page is playing at 194 right now. We'll crack 200. He's filling out well. Jarosky needs more pierogies. Yeah. Yes, he does. I trade Pickford if it lands us a 2C. Oh, boy. Harris, Barron, Struble. Seems ironic now. The first two certainly had their issues on making or staying in the NHL. Yeah, I think Strubes But maybe he's a 7th, or you never know. Depends where he goes, right? Like if another playoff team picks him up as insurance, right? Yeah. Sorry, we got a influx of Jacob Perez, White Cloud. He just got traded. Probably going to keep him. Cardinal Fakordik was up there in the category of what the heck were they thinking? Well, they wanted a tough guy. So maybe there's a team out there that wants a tough guy. Maybe you can get maybe you can get a superstar for him. All these random thoughts are very disorienting. Thought we were talking about Reinbacher. That's actually interesting. Oh, there you go. Well, people can talk about whatever they want, Dory. Copernicus, the Torpedo. I think Copernicus has more potential. Yeah. Dach was arguably our best player before the injury started. You know, he looked really good. Like that 38 points in 58 games. And I'm sorry, Jacob, but saying that he has no hockey sense and all that, it's just plain wrong. And yeah, we do have eyes, and no, we're not crazy, and no, you're not smarter than all of us. You're being overly dramatic about what his apparent weaknesses are. He was top 3 pick in the NHL, got traded. So you're saying basically scouts are clueless. The Habs are clueless because they traded picks for him and got him from Chicago. Andre Tournier, when they named him captain of the World Junior team, was clueless. Everybody but you is clueless, Jacob. Just tone down the rhetoric just a little bit, buddy, okay? Don't want to have to, just I'm giving you a warning, okay? We don't need know-it-alls on here, all right? Just as Glenn says, Jacob, give it a break. People are weird, sensitive, and confused. Yeah. Shame Newhook was clicking this year before injury. Yes. Is that his nickname, Seamus or something? Rather have Reinbacher than, oh yeah, well, what do you got to trade? Yeah. No. They don't need to trade for somebody that will be replaced, like that Reinbacher will be every bit as good as really soon. We'll see with Line. He's going to get a look. Marty seems to favor Struvel's speed against certain teams. In the interview, he was also mentioned not wanting to sit someone for too long. Well, that's fair. Thanks, Francois Badard. Yeah, I don't know. Like, he's going to be on the Olympic team. The price will be high to get Parayko. And the Canadians have No, I don't think that's an option for them. I know you were talking to chat members, Jacob, and I don't want fighting on here if it's okay. Be respectful if you don't mind. Okay? Thank you. I don't want to ban you. You've been decent before today, so. Hey, Grant, thoughts on Gooley looking a tad rusty? Yeah, he's been a little rusty, but yeah, I think it's just a reps thing. I thought his last game was better, and I think you'll just see him getting better and better as he goes along here. I think they're showcasing Struble, which is why he plays a lot. Yeah, well, if you saw the start of the podcast there, Wayner, that's basically what I said. So, chat, how are we feeling about the Sabres game? I'm not a fan of Struble in for Arbor. Need beef against. Yeah, well, Struble is strong as an ox, right? And he can hold his own. Like, it's not like we're talking about a wallflower going in against the big Sabres forwards. So, I'm not. Yeah, Arbor's bigger, but he doesn't hit any more than Struble per game. Like maybe a little more, but it's pretty close. I don't know. I wonder if it's a showcase thing a little bit, but I think Marty kind of liked what Carrier and Gooley looked decent together as a pairing. Struble and Hudson have been good together before as a pairing. There's familiarity there. So I think that's what he was looking at. And they played a pretty good game against Minnesota, I thought, for the most part. So that, if it's beyond showcasing of some sort, then that would be why I think that they're doing this. Yeah. Well, the thing with Dach, well, yeah, you'd redo a trade perhaps if a guy's out, misses 2 of the next 3 years. Sure. But you can't predict that at the time. And no, Kirby Dach's 24 friggin' years old. He's not even at his prime yet. He's 6'4". He's very good at protecting the puck. He's got very good puck skills. He does have vision. He's a decent passer. He can play well defensively. I've seen him beat up guys that I didn't think he could beat up. So there is some toughness there too. More so than anything, he needs good health, and he needed to get in better shape. He did that in the offseason. His game was coming on when he went down. Let's give him some friggin' time here instead of being emphatic that, no, he's this, he's being just completely writing him off. Well, that's not really wise for a 24-year-old that has been beset by injury. It's obviously the biggest factor in why he hasn't been great when he's returned. You friggin' hurt your knee twice, Jacob. It takes a while. It typically takes 2 years before you're back to normal. It's just like that's the standard. So, it's not like he's 28 years old and his time has come and gone. You friggin' hold on to him. You be patient. It's not going to cost much to re-sign him as an RFA. He's not getting traded in the offseason. If he does start to reach that potential that everybody thought that he had, I don't know anyone that didn't have him ranked as a top 5 pick in his draft year. Then the Canadians have exactly what they need in the top 6 or top 9. So let's get off the Dach subject here and move on, please. What's your thought on Jonathan Huberdeau? My thought is that he makes $10 million a year and he shouldn't. There's no cap space for get Huberdeau. How about a third line of Dach, Danault, and Anderson? Yeah. That doesn't overly excite me. I think Dach needs to be with more offensive players than that. Page and a mid first doesn't do it for Thomas. Well, that's just, yeah. Thomas isn't getting traded, folks. You think the Saviors are not regretting Eichel trade after his early injury history? That's a good point. He's not, Dach isn't Eichel, but it's a good point. I'll go on record and say Lane Hutson's potential is uncapped. He could be the best defenseman in the league one day. Yeah, well. Danault has been a disappointment. I don't know about that. For the most part, yes, Wayne, but last game I liked. And hopefully we see more of that. He was big on on that winning goal. He took out Hughes. He was cross-checking him in front of the net, screened the goalie, won the face-off. He was a big part of that winning goal. And he's won some really big face-offs for the club so far. Managed to score a goal finally. Almost scored on a slapper from the point too. I think he's just maybe getting up to speed here. I hope. I want to see more, but I think we saw that last game. Yeah, Dach can freaking scrap. I know. I'd like to see it a little more often. We need bigger guys. All he needs to do is stay healthy. Well, that's the thing. He's perfect if he reaches his potential. So, you know, you trade a 6'4" guy and then you're looking for a 6'4" guy. So, anyway, we'll see. Let's be patient. We'll see. That's all I can say. Let's see how many penalties Canadians will get tonight from the get-go. Yeah. Yepper. Danault and Dach are really good at controlling the puck in tight space, but I'd replace Anderson with a better play driver, sniper. Danault is really good at controlling the puck in tight spaces. Yeah. Would you see Arbor playing on the fourth line with his brother? That always has to be brought up, eh? Arbor playing forward. Maybe. Yeah, well, Dach can be physical. Dach will be a fine third-line winger. Top two lines should fill with Hage and Zborowski. Yeah. What is Jacky worth on the trade market? I think you'd get a decent return for him. Danault on a scoring streak. Absolutely. Look out, world. Here comes Danault. Third line, Dach, Newhook, Bolduc growing together could be dynamic. I don't know if it'd be dynamic, but yeah. Could be a decent third line. If the line of Danault, Galley, and Anderson stick, I believe they feed off each other and level up. Well, there's lots of experience there. Besides, the back-to-back games are going to ease up, and hence their energy will be better. Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, Deneau and Galley played together. They were fantastic together in the past, so I can see them, you know, feeding off each other, knowing where the other player is, being comfortable with them. Uh, Deneau's production in Montreal is already above his production in LA. Well, there you go. I think he needs a little time to, adapt. Different conference, different styles. Where will Shane Wright end up here? Seattle's open to moving him. Well, yeah. The writing was on the wall when they selected Berkeley Cat in top 10, passing on some good defensemen, and then taking O'Brien top 10 last year, right? They obviously don't think that Shane Wright's going to be top 2 center. And I mean, I said that in this draft year, that end up on the wing, but yeah. Well, Wright's, I don't know. He's just not nearly as skilled as many thought in his draft year, right? He's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1 goal in his last 17 games. 1 goal, 3 assists in his last 17 games. Compare that to Slav. 20 points, 10 goals, 10 assists in his last 15. Imagine if the Habs had drafted Shane Wright. Slav had, it was reversed. Slav had 10 goals, 10 assists for Seattle, and Wright was doing that with Montreal. Whew. He'd be out of town on a handrail. Shane Wright's still pissy that they didn't draft him. Yeah. I'd like to see Dach get a few games between Demi and Slav. Caps doesn't get it together soon. Yeah. Cappy hasn't scored in 3 games. Better get it together. Before that, Demi had 5 games where he was below average. Should they have demoted him to the 4th line? Well, he gets a pass though. He's Demi. Grant, I know you checked out Shane a lot in the draft. What's your thoughts on why things haven't panned out for him? Yeah, imagine if we listened to the fans, Ed Tamboni? Wow. Well, because he didn't have nearly as much talent as people thought. His skating I thought was average at best. His stick handling was average. Had a good shot and could pass the puck, but his actual skating puck skills were average. He sucked defensively. He just didn't give any effort whatsoever. Physicality, he kind of got quiet when things got physical. Yeah, I didn't like him. He was horrible in the playoffs. was on for like 3 goals against every game, and on average in the playoffs. It was just crazy. Didn't see him as a top 2 center at the NHL level. I figured he'd be a top 6 winger. I'm not even sure now if that's going to be the case. He might be a third line winger. Yeah. I stumbled on an old sick podcast where he mentioned Slav was number 1. Oh, yeah. The most popular non-live episode, I think, that they ever had. It was number 1 for like 2 years, that episode. So Slav will go number 1. Wright wasn't what people thought he is. That aged really well. Tony was trying to excuse Wright's value on COVID. Yeah. Yeah. We'll kill to have Berkeley Catton on Montreal to be our future number 2. Oh. He's pretty small. I like Hage more than Catton. I remember Grant saying Shane was way too passive, no play driver, nothing exceptional traits, a bit lazy. There you go. Hope it's the end of the constant talk of the Florida Panthers repeat. Yeah. We got what we need in the pipeline. I don't want to rush anything. We're building to be competitive for cups for years, not simple on cup. Oh, not a cup and done. Yeah. Well, even 1 cup would be okay. Really, Kev. I'd settle for 1 cup right now after 33 years. I remember hearing one scout say he could be a Patrice Bergeron clone. Shane Wright, yeah. That drove me crazy when Craig was saying that. Shane Wright said it himself. I think he said it first, and then ooh, what? I ended up doing a video. It's on this YouTube channel. The next Patrice Bergeron, and I showed all of his lazy defensive plays, and I got a lot of heat from, oh, you're being mean to this young guy. Well, sorry, but every Montreal fan saying I'm crazy for saying that you shouldn't pick him. It's important. First overall pick in Montreal it's going to be important. Like, let's back off this next Patrice Bergeron talk for Shane Wright. I wanted to nip it in the bud. Oh, I had freaking, you're just a horrible man that you would ever criticize Shane Wright. Have prospects never been criticized before? You couldn't criticize Shane Wright because he was going to be Montreal's first pick. And how dare you ever say anything bad about him? I was just an awful man to be critical in any way, shape, or form about Shane Wright until finally about May, things in the media, and then finally social media started. Well, hey, I know I kept saying, just wait for Bob McKenzie's last draft list because everyone treats it as a gospel because he polls like 10 NHL scouts. And I mean, I talked to, close to not 10, but 7 or 8 every year. And they weren't sold on, it wasn't just me, they weren't sold on Shane Wright. And sure enough, when Bob's final ranking came out, he had, and I still, I don't know if it was 10 NHL scouts that certainly weren't the same ones as me because only one still had him first overall of the ones I knew, and it was only because he didn't care. They weren't drafting high, and he just kept him first anyway. But everybody else liked Cooley or Slav first that I knew. And then Bob's list came out and it was split 5-5. I thought it would be like 7-3 Slav, but still, it finally put some doubt in people's minds that, hey, maybe Shane Wright won't go first overall. Maybe Grant's on to something here. Well, you know, it wasn't just me, it was the scouting world in general. And I happen to have, contacts in being a former NHL scout and friends. But people still thought, oh, you're crazy. You're just making it up. You hate Shane Wright. This is only you saying that, even though it was well known, and anyone that scouted him, that watched him, it's like, holy frig. And that knew, you're a lazy prick that with not nearly as much talent as people thought. Your stats are down from when you were 16 to when you were your draft year. That's always a freaking red flag too. He peaked at 16 years of age, didn't mature physically after that. These are all things that are very important to scouts because you're projecting 5 years down the road. Well, if this guy is not going to be any better at 21 than he is at 18, and he's not, right? So that's it. Oh, geez, Mark, you come with money and you come with that. Logs in. Sorry, I was busy. Here's my penalty. Ding, 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 ding. First donation, an hour and 46 minutes in. I think that's maybe a new record. Thank you, Mark. Can we clone you? We've had like 200 people. We've had about 800 people on here, and you're the first one to make a donation. Not trying to make anybody else feel guilty here or anything, but Jacob, for all his, he should be making a donation. Gotta go. Good chatting. 4-1 Habs tonight. There we go, eh? Mason McTavish. Yeah, well, he's not going anywhere. Yes. I'm friends with his dad. Eganville connection, Ottawa Valley, Renfrew County. Oh, yeah. It's going to be in my next book, actually, Mason McTavish. Love to have him, but he ain't going nowhere. Late to the party. What did I miss? You missed everyone being stingy. Just kidding, guys. Everything. You missed everything. Yes. What do I think of Carrier, Grant? Carrier's playing well. You can't not like Carrier the last 2 weeks. I mean, holy frig. He's not very big, but he blocks shots. He takes hits. He's a warrior. He reminds me a bit, and you know what? I think Robidas probably thinks of him kind of being a little bit like him. He's not as thick and strong as Robidas, but similar height, similar, just tough. He's tough. I don't mind Carrier. He keeps playing like he has the last couple of weeks. You got to keep him in a lot. And hey, he kills penalties. Like him and Matheson are out there. They're on the first PK. When you're on a club's first PK, you're not going anywhere. You're highly valued. They clearly love him, and Hugo having better luck third round and beyond than most teams do in the first 2 rounds. Yes. Nick Bobrov has grown as a scout in the past 5 years, and that's good. Hey, we all do. If you aren't mule headed and don't learn from your mistakes and realize that you do make mistakes and try to learn, okay, well, why did I make that error, and what can I do next time that not to look, and you grow and you mature and you learn as you evolve. As the years go by in scouting, you have to you can't just look at I got that guy right, I got that guy right. You got to look even more so at the guys you didn't get right, and learn from it. Like I'll rewatch. The boys need to feed off the crowd tonight. They need to absorb that energy as soon as the puck drops. Yes. Strong start. Monty seems to be over this letting in the goal on the first shot thing too, because that deflates the crowd, deflates the team. As long as Monty makes the first 2 saves, the Canadiens are in it. They freaking give up like 2 goals on 3 shots to start the game. It's going to be tough. Get some daylight between the Sabres. Yeah, I agree. Mark, I like this. The CEO of the company I work for was very interested in Log Ends products. I told him to mention you. He buys something. He's loaded and loves that kind of stuff. Hope it works out. Oh, man. See? And other people, like this doesn't have to just be you. Just, anyone that might be interested. I've got him for 2 months here, but I'd really like to get him signed up long term. And if we get some sales, he will renew his contract. I guess it'll be up at the end of February, but this is just fantastic stuff. This the flooring. Hey, Yvon Cornwallier got it. It's not. I'll say it's not inexpensive, but it is. The quality is just unmatched. It ups the value of your house way more than what the cost is for the actual material. Just beautiful. Check out their website. If you know someone that might be, that might be in the market for flooring, pass it on like Mark did. Thank you very much, Mark. That's truly appreciated. It really is. Wasn't the chant "The Price is Right" that year? Oh, yeah. The price is wrong, Bob. Bobrov. You could tell by that face on draft day, the fact everyone knows that what face says something about his character. Oh, yeah, when he, yeah. What I find interesting whenever you see it there, they say from the Slovakian national team, and Slav stands up. It could have been Nemec, Like he assumed that, it must be me, but just saying the Slovakian national team could have been Nemec that the Habs were going to pick. But I guess Slav kind of knew the Habs were going forward. They had said it was between Slav, Cooley, and Wright. And you know what? They just said Wright to appease, because it was still like everyone, like the media would have gone nuts. What? Shane Wright? You don't have Shane Wright as one of the... So Kent Hughes, whenever he's asked, well, we've got it narrowed down to between Cooley, Slav, and Wright. But they weren't picking Shane Wright. They just weren't. And I know it for a fact. In fact, if Seattle doesn't take him, and everything that I've heard, and this is from inside scouting sources, Seattle scouting staff didn't want to take Wright, but ownership wanted them to take him. Again, because media had just drilled it into people's heads that, should be number one. So when he's there at 4, got to take him, even though the scouting staff wasn't crazy about him. Like, how much better would Seattle be today if they'd have taken Cutter Gauthier, right? Instead of Shane Wright. And but I know several people that were with teams that were drafting between 5 and 10, and I've been told by more than one that there was a distinct possibility that if Seattle doesn't take Wright at 4, that he drops outside of the top 10. I mean, I got a lot of people apologizing to me after anyways when he went 4th, but if he'd have dropped out of the top 10, apologies galore. Habs 3148. Super sticker, $3. I don't know that I've ever gotten a $3 donation before. Do you know what? I'll accept it. Quite gratefully, actually. Thank you, Habs 3148. Montreal taking Wright would have been terrible for the player also, especially after the Galchenyuk pick. Would have been never-ending comparisons. Yeah, well, after the KK pick too. Grant, who's your number one for the 2026 draft? Ooh. Haven't spent a pile of time on it. I'll say Gavin McKenna, but to be determined. I'll do a deep dive as we go along here, but I've been really focused on getting this HabsCast going. Nice. See what I started? Yeah. Second donation came in not more than 10 minutes later. Nothing for an hour and 40 minutes, and then all of a sudden, 2. Thank you, Mark, for getting the ball rolling. I'm up to $4 an hour here. Good wage, eh? Chester's barking at something. My boss asks this question all day long, sir. Nope, only one me. Yeah. Did you tell him that Yvan Cournoyer buys this flooring? Because if you do, it'll be sold. Habs for the win with yet another nail biter. Here. Yep. Carrier is the rugged winger we are missing. Carrier, the new sniper. There we go, guys. Yep. Rocket Richard candidate. You know it. Mule-headed. Oh, that's a good word for this chat. Oh, just, the odd person every now and then. I could be mule-headed too, but every time the gif of the lady when the Habs choose KK. Yeah. Carrier's perfect 6D. Most teams, yeah. Well, she wanted, not necessarily Wade, because she wanted Boleno. Or not Boleno, what's his face there? You know who I mean. The kid from Detroit took, who was a real bust. Can't even remember his name now. That's how freaking bad he was. Carrier is a perfect 6D. Most teams would be totally happy if you use your 6. Might happen if Rhino is ready soon, like was talked about earlier. Yep. Slav is a frickin' beast. So happy we nailed that one. Absolutely. We have been over 100 people on here for the full 2 hours, basically. I like it, folks. I'm going to get paid by YouTube, at least, for this episode. That's good stuff. How many likes, by the way? If you've been on here, please press the like button. Every bit helps. When people like it, the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm is very happy, and it becomes a lot more visible, a lot more viewed. So truly appreciate it if you hit the like button. I'm just curious to see how many people have watched this episode so far. Bet you it's 1,000 plus. 1.2 thousand. Very good. 1,200 views already. Thank you, folks, for. I just had to say trade brewing, eh? Get people curious. Oh, every now and then I got to throw out the clickbait there. How many? 58. Okay, guys. Less than 5% of you have liked. Less than 5% of people that have viewed have liked. Usually it's close to 10 anyway. Hit that like button, folks. 1 in 20 take the time to like it, I guess. I guess I'm not very likable today. I think the emphasis Habs put on the player's character will be instrumental in our cup wins. Oh, yeah. They're not trading for Shane Wright. I can guarantee you that. You think he shot them a dirty look before? Imagine the dirty look get then. Mind showing us that clip again? Yeah. Oh, you want to see the great clip? Okay, what's it called? Trippy. Called it Trippy, man. Ask and you shall receive. Love the call, Brian and Mike. Oh, in case you missed it, Mark, I'm going to have Zadina, that's it. Going to have Stu Cowan on Monday. Hopefully he can start coming on fairly regularly. Nice to have Gazette writer that we can talk to about Habs talk. I also asked Brian Mudrick, and if he can get the okay from TSN, and that's who knows, but he said he'd come on too if he can get permission. So it'd be kind of cool to have Brian Mudrick join our show on occasion. Going to try to add a few more people to the lineup here. Rick, if you texted me, I don't have my phone, so email me if you. Anyway, it's too late to have you on, but if you did say you could come on, I don't have my phone. I didn't know the lady had a choice. Yeah, Zadina. I don't imagine Seattle would want a lot for Wright. Yeah, but the Canadians have no, like, they could get him for Laval, I guess. Who do you have to score a goal tonight? Oh. Cappy. Oh, look at that. Got another $2 from Mark. We're up to $10, folks. $5 an hour. Right on. Thank you very much. No, I do appreciate it, Mark. Thanks. Demi is going to score. Yeah. I have a feeling Cappy Tappy's one in, and then I'm happy. Do a happy Cappy with a Tappy. I need players for my parlay. Yes. I think looks like Lane backed up and hit him with a force field. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, Mudryk is good. He's become really good, eh? Nice guy, too. Ran into him at a Sens game, and we had a good chat there. He recognized, like, oh, hey, Grant. Oh. How do you know? How do you? I know who you are, Brian, but how do you know me? Anyway, guess he'd seen a podcast or two. We had a nice chat. Nice guy. Stu, awesome. Yes, he is. Great guy, too. Both those guys are great guys. Come playoff time, that superpower is going to be awesome. Yes. Lane can trip shadows.
Not a stick, not a skate, not anything.
You know that it was a play like that, like something that obvious that inspired them to have face-off challenges. Maybe this will inspire them to say, "Oh, we need to be able to look at obvious penalties that were missed," but probably not. I hope not. It just delays the game even more. Hopefully tonight's game isn't the same officiating crew. No, I saw. It's not the same. You need to get Patrick Roy on the show once a week. There you go. Carrier with another one tonight. Rocket Richard. Dawson will score one. Carrier with another one tonight. Yeah. Susie's going to score one. Cappy. Slav with another one. That's all I got. Be nice if Dach scored. Lidstrom or Wright at 4, the bigger mistake. Oh, Wright. A little early to be burying Lidstrom there. Oh, well, Lindstrom. I think Nick Lidstrom was a pretty good pick, don't you? A little early to be burying Lindstrom. He's coming back from missing an entire year with his back injury, so just like with Dach, got to be patient when somebody's out for that long. Coming back from something like that, right? Okay, folks, got to go feed the puppy dog. It's after 5. Got to save my voice a little bit. I'll be on after. I'll be on after this podcast, and I will. I'll have a post game. I think Liam might be joining me. I'll text Rick and see if he can come on too. We'll get those boys' thoughts after the game. Hope you can join me. Thanks for everyone for showing up here. We've ducked down to 80, so people are leaving. Too early to say anything about Lindstrom. There's an N in there, guys. Thank you, Mark. Big game for Monte would be huge. Absolutely, Johnny. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I will. I hope to see you right after the game. I should be on within 5 minutes to do a post game. So see you tonight. See you tonight, Kenny. All right. Bye for now, folks.